Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing episodes 1 and 2 of Loki on Disney Plus, starring Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. I am going to be discussing spoilers. I don't know how I really do it without them. It wouldn't be much of a review. If you're not up to date with the show, step away now and come back when you are. So the TV show Loki is a form of continuation from where we last saw the character of Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Slight spoiler for Avengers Endgame, but in the modern day Avengers time-travelling mission, they return to the first Avengers movie set in 2012, and something goes wrong where the 2012 version of Loki, who was the villain of the first Avengers movie, manages to escape. Up until this moment, we knew nothing more than that. Just that little nugget was floating out there in the universe and could potentially become something. This is that nugget. And essentially what happened after Loki escaped is that he almost immediately got caught by the Time Variance Authority, or agency, I can't remember. The TVA. Much easier. So the TVA capture him almost immediately, and the TVA's job is to, well, essentially they're timekeepers, time protectors. They understand time from the very start to the very finish, and they know the script, whether it be good things or bad things that happen. They just don't get involved. Whatever it is, it happened for a reason, and it will have ripple-on effects. And as long as that all is in the script, then everything's okie dokie. However, the character Loki, okie dokie Loki, not using my words well here, the 2012 escapee Loki does anything but play by the rule book and is causing a lot of problems for the TVA. And Owen Wilson's character M. Morbius, I believe, he wants to keep the escapee Loki around to understand the character a little bit more, understand what makes him tick, because it turns out the 2012 Loki isn't really the threat here. There is a different alternate reality Loki out there that's really causing some trouble and genuinely coming after the TVA with an agenda to end them, essentially. And that is the plot of this show. So getting into the first episode of Loki, I thought this was really enjoyable. I loved how weird and wacky it was, how different it was going to be. I was a little bit annoyed that it stopped for 20 solid minutes to give Loki a therapy session. Just getting a bit tired of that now. This is the third show that they've done here. WandaVision, heavily involved character therapy for Wanda. Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a lot of therapy for the Winter Soldier. And now Loki, and even Loki's having to sit down and discuss the things that he's done and what he's been through, and has he actually unpacked that? Yeah, it's a fun character to do that with, but I'm just tired of that now. I want them to do something totally different with each one of these shows. Hopefully this show is only going to do that little bit there, and then we can just move forward, because I am just getting tired of it, and it's going to make me lose interest if this is what they just do with all of them. I like the set design of the TVA. It's very brown and wooden, and it reminds you of, sorting offices and things like that, test centres, just queuing, ticking clocks, paperwork, these horrible places that just feel like hell on earth. I enjoy this animatronic Miss Minutes that they have with a deep Southern Carolina accent. She's the bearer of bad news at all times, but she delivers it with an upbeat tone.
Right, and that would lead to the destruction of the timeline and the collapse of reality as we know it.
It's just a fun character design, that, for what it is. I do really like the world building that they're setting here, but my dislike is that I don't really care about the plot, if I'm being honest, and I feel like it's a tiny bit predictable despite this really big potential they have with all this time trickery. For it to just boil down to Loki versus another Loki, I feel like that's weak when you consider that you could have done just about anything with this time-travelling and alternate reality situation on your hands here. And perhaps they still will. This is only 2 episodes in. I may be quick to pull the trigger here. Maybe that's my fault here. Maybe I do need to give this more time. What's really holding the show together for me is the chemistry between Owen Wilson's Mobius and Tom Hiddleston's Loki. They're great together. because Loki is the mischievous scamp that you can't trust, and yet Owen Wilson is a really nice guy. He's very forgiving. He's willing to give people chances, but he knows what Loki's like. He's a timekeeper. He knows Loki from start to finish of his own life. So it's like sometimes he probably even knows that when he agrees to something with Loki, that it isn't going to turn out well for Owen Wilson, but he will do it anyway because the script says so. I kind of like that. There's something about Owen Wilson's character that you just can't quite put your finger on because of that aspect. Despite everyone else around him sort of saying, like, get rid of Loki, he's trouble, Owen Wilson just keeps hanging in there. And at a point you do start to question why, really. Like, what is the real reason why? So episode 1 was a great pace setter, a great universe builder, and a great sort of leveler for the characters. Here is your cast. And for that, I'm going to give episode 1 a 9 out of 10. Thoroughly enjoyable, really good introduction. As much as I didn't enjoy the therapy session, I thought it was done effectively still to that level, and it was written well, delivered well, filmed well, acted well. Episode 2, however, it seemed to lose all of its pacing. This episode felt very aimless and quite scruffy at times. Nothing really was that developed, nothing was really learned. Some of the musical cues were a little bit questionable. We have a fight at the beginning of the episode and it's Bonnie Tyler's I Need a Hero. Just strange choice for me. I like that song a lot, and for me it's, as soon as I hear that song I think of Shrek 2 with the horse and everything going through the castle. Maybe that says more about me.
Alright, big fella, let's crash this party.
But I don't know, it just didn't seem to fit here. The lyrics didn't seem to have an ulterior motive. Like, if you listen to the lyrics carefully, it actually tells you a story. Somebody needs a hero. Like, it didn't do any of that. It just seemed to be like, hey, put on this cheesy pop number. Why though? And we slowly build and build. They're slowly figuring out how this alternate reality Loki works. I thought the explanation was shaky, but I'll buy into it. The idea is that alternate reality Loki is hiding inside of apocalyptic moments, because whatever happens in those moments, the apocalypse happens, so it'll just be erased anyway. For example, they go to Pompeii and the escapee Loki decides to just, like, release some goats, throw some stuff in the air, scream this, talk in different languages in front of these people who would be looking at you like, what? And of course the volcano explodes, and it sort of proves his theory right. So yeah, I'll go along with it. I like that they took the time to at least explain it. And then it comes down to a bit of a showdown in a shopping centre in the far future, again in an apocalyptic moment. I believe there's like some sort of tsunami or flood happening, and Loki, our Loki, finally comes face to face with the alternate reality Loki who's causing all of these troubles, and it turns out to be some blonde woman. Don't get me wrong, I've got no issue with alternate reality Loki being a woman. In fact, I almost would have guaranteed that it would be a woman. It just makes more sense. It's kind of why I have problems with the show. You have these possibilities and these alternate realities. Do something with it. I'm actually, if anything, I'm a fan that it's a woman. I wouldn't want just another actor reenacting what Tom Hiddleston does so well as the character of Loki. Let's see some variations. But I don't mean to judge an actor too early. I got no emotion out of that reveal at all. I just sort of looked at her and went, okay, you're the female Loki then. It wasn't a recognised actor. Maybe she is someone really famous and I just have never crossed paths with her. But could we have not got somebody with a little bit of pushing power behind them? Someone with a little bit of shock value? Because it was piss weak from my perspective. It's just like, it might as well have just been me. If I just took my hood down and went, that's right, people, this guy, you're going to be disappointed, because it's not that much to sing and dance about. Not to put myself down here, but I just feel like if it was an actor, actress that we knew and loved and would be very excited about seeing what they would bring to the show, it would have had much harder hitting impact on me. This just felt like a very long-winded and fairly unnecessary episode to me. And I hope that the concerns it has given me are false, and I hope the show finds its feet at some point. I think that's a problem here. I don't think the show, despite a good setup, has quite found its feet. And I think it's because of this plot line being far too weak in comparison to the possibility of what the story could offer. I hope they up the ante. I want them to throw everything at the wall here because I feel like that's what the show needs. It needs to be a little bit more bombastic in nature. This is Loki, the god of mischief. So let's have a super mischievous, freaking crazy, out of this world show. I almost, have the persona of Loki fit the bill for the show, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So episode 2 gets a 6 out of 10. I'm sure some of you will disagree with me. A lot of people are loving this show, and I do want to make clear that I am enjoying it. I just have some niggling concerns after the first 2 episodes, and I hope that I'm wrong. Thanks for watching this review. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any uploads. Leave a comment as well. I'd love to hear what you thought of the show, if you disagree with me or if you agree. I'm also going to put my handle up on the screen now for Instagram. Just type this into the search bar and you should find me. If you would like to give me a follow or message me or anything of the sort, send me some suggestions for what you'd think I'd have a fun review with. Maybe some games, something like that, I'm open to suggestions. Stay safe out there, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.